Orlandosalido and Lamont Pearson in a 10-round junior lightweight showdown here on Friday Night Fights. 31-year-old Lamont Pearson is from Maryland, weighed in at 130 pounds. He is ranked #1 by the IBF, #4 by the WBA. In the junior lightweight division, 17-0-1, 10 knockouts. His last 5 opponents have a winning percentage of 64%. Good win against Carlos Navarro. He knocked Navarro down twice in that fight. He'll be taking on 22-year-old Orlandosalido. Salido turned pro at age 15. 11-8-1, 7 knockouts. He nearly pulled out of this fight about an hour ago. He wanted more money. His contract was for $5,000. He said he had a new deal with one of the promoters. He was scheduled to get 7. He nearly pulled out, and then he decided that he would step into the ring tonight against Pearson. Well, Lamont Pearson is a man of many different talents. He works in the U.S. Postal Service, owns apartment buildings, says boxing is not the end-all be-all for him.
Boxing it's important to me, but it's not I'm not going to say it's a high priority. It's not my top priority. I do it because I love the sport. I've been doing it for many years because I love it. And that's what motivates me. I think fighters these days, once you depend on boxing, it's a lot of pressure to do good. But I just love it, and I come out and I do my best I can. And I'm learning, and I'm loving it.
Now that is 31-year-old Lamont Pearson, who is ranked #1. He'll become the mandatory for Stevie Forbes' title. He was scheduled to fight on this card, but didn't like the oppositions. On June the 29th, he will be the mandatory. Tony Weeks is our referee. Let's take a look at the Arizona rules. 3 knockdown rule in effect. No standing 8 count. Only the referee may stop it. Fighter can be saved with bell in the final round only. Accidental foul, they'll go to the scorecards after 3. Count 3 rounds are complete. Lamont Pearson on your left, 109 amateur bouts. 1998 National Golden Gloves champion at 132 pounds. Salido nearly backed out of this fight, so you wonder exactly how interested he is in actually fighting. He was threatened by the Arizona Commission of being suspended for 1 year and have his purses attached if he would have backed out of the fight. He claimed he had a contract that was not signed by the promoter that stated that he was to make $7,000 for this fight rather than 5. Anyway, he is in the ring against Pearson. Pearson, as you mentioned, works for the U.S. Postal Service, gets up every morning at 5 a.m., runs 3 miles, takes Lamont Jr. to school, goes to work for 8 to 10 hours, picks up his son after school, then goes to the gym. That's a dedicated guy. That's a dedicated family man.
Yes, it is. Pearson turned pro at a little bit of a late age, 27 years old. And of course, as you said earlier, Salido, on the other side of the spectrum, turned pro very young, which you can do in Mexico, 15 years of age.
Well, come rain, sleet, or accidental headbutt, Lamont Pearson's going to get you the mount. Salido coming off a controversial loss in December to Alejandro Gonzalez, former WBA featherweight champion, who lost a 10-round majority decision.
Being that Salido turned pro so young, he was a much smaller man, turned pro at bantamweight. Now up here, it's a junior lightweight level.
See a lot of the boxers now with advertisements, grease painted on their back. It looks like the one that most of the fighters have on their back is getting some competition from the new breed.
There's new people in town, new advertisement in town.
Left hook to the body there, thrown by Salido. Pearson uses his elbows to block that body attack.
Pearson gives Salido a chance to go to the body by covering up and staying defensive for a moment, allowing Salido to do a little bag work. But Looks like the label on the glove is coming off. On the left glove of Pearson. And it is.
Yeah. They just take it right off.
Time in. Let's go.
Decal wasn't sewed on or anything, so they take it right off. There you go.
Stop.
20 feet by 20 feet inside the ropes. Ooh, good right hand there by Salido.
Salido being the aggressor in this fight. He's pressing the issue. And once again, you can see Pearson going defensive, giving Salido a place to work.
We are in Phoenix, Arizona for the second consecutive night. Last night, of course, Hector Camacho Jr. lost a unanimous decision victory in an upset to Omar Weiss. We have Lamont Pearson right now in the ring. Salido so far has been able to work the body and then go up top. He's looked pretty good in round one.
Yes, he has, and he's been given the opportunity, the landscape, to look good because Pearson has just covered up and allowed him to walk right into that kitchen. Pearson needs to use his jab and not go defensive too long.
All right, now we'll talk about it later on. James Lights Out Tony in our main event. Sometimes his body's been like Play-Doh, but he's in shape, 195 pounds.
How much weight did he take off and how quick?
I don't know, but he was happy as he was losing the weight. We begin round number 2. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on. Pearson and Salido. Take a look at the numbers in round 1. And you see that Salido finished the round strongly. He was busier. He landed 17 of 55 power shots.
Pearson coming out this round using that jab, not going into that defensive shell and fighting Salido to come in and go to work. See, when you just cover up, it's great to keep your hands up, don't get me wrong, but when you just cover up, do nothing else, you invite your opponent to go to work. Yeah, you handcuff yourself. You want to be covered up, you want to move your head, you make your opponent miss a punch, then he can't sit in on you. He's got to worry about something coming back. You go defensive only. Well, you see what happens. Salido can start moving those hands. Get aggressive. So far, that is one of the vulnerabilities in the armor of Pearson. Can cover up, allow you to go to work. Handcuff himself. This round, Pearson trying to use that jab. Stay out of that position. Trying to use his reach, his height. I think what Pearson's trying to do right now, Bob, is look for a spot to time the aggressive Salido coming in. Looks like Pearson is a thoughtful fighter. Selective. Doesn't want to waste much. Maybe he's too selective with this style of Salido. Well, Pearson is waiting for the perfect spots. He's getting outworked. Beat to the punch. You have an old saying in boxing, Bob. Sometimes when you have a guy in there that's busy like that, instead of waiting for the perfect spot, roll the punches, keep your man busy. Don't wait for the openings, create them. Looks like Pearson might be waiting for the openings a little too much.
Salido is filling in the spots nicely, very aggressive.
Well, he's doing the right thing. He sees that he has a complacent man in front of him, a thoughtful man, a selective man in front of him. He's taking advantage of that.
Salido has been knocked out 5 times, including his pro debut. All of his knockout losses were in Mexico. Remember, he turned pro at 15 years of age. But Salido taking the fight to Pearson through the first 2 rounds. Round number 3 underway here in Phoenix between Lamont Pearson in the black trunks against Orlando Salido in the white trunks. Pearson, the #1 ranked junior lightweight in the IBF, #4 in the WBA. But right now, Salido through the first 2 rounds has been the aggressor. He's been the guy throwing the power punches. You get a look at the numbers from round number 2, power punches. You see Salido landing the telling blows.
early on at least. It only matters if he keeps it up. Pearson seemed to come out with a little adjustment of his philosophy, of his attitude, getting off, not waiting so much.
Teddy's scorecard through 2 rounds to zip for Salido. So how I've scored it as well.
It still may work for Pearson. His style of being selective, not wasting much. If he can nail, of Pearson, I should say, if he can nail Salido coming in. Salido does give you opportunities to catch him coming in because he is a free swinger. Once in a while, he'll come in a little bit wide. And Pearson is ready to chuck a punch at the right time. He can hit pay dirt. After all, Salido, his set of whiskers, his beard, his chin has not always been granite. He has been knocked out 5 times. And you can see where it would happen when he's coming forward from a little too far away, a little wide.
So we have to congratulate the fight fans here in Phoenix. Of course, we were here last night on ESPN's Thursday Night Boxing Special. Very enthusiastic crowds.
They were terrific, and it makes it so much nicer, so much easier to call a fight when you have a crowd that is into it, enthusiastic, full of life.
Salido goes your right hand to the ear. Pearson blocks some of that.
And you see why Salido is able to get off. Once again, Pearson just covering up.
But Salido got countered there with a left hand that rocked him back.
Pearson gives and then takes it away. He gives you the opportunity to do damage to him when he just covers up. Then he takes it away when he lets his hands go with Salido as he's coming in.
Salido was able to steal the late stages of round 1 and probably steal the round. He's trying to do that here in round 3, but this time Pearson is throwing back. Good fight. Welcome back to the Celebrity Theater in Phoenix, Arizona. Glad you can join us for Friday Night Fights presented by Miller High Life. Bob Papa, Teddy Atlas ringside, Lamont Pearson, Orlando Salido in the ring. Pearson ranked #1 by the IBF in the junior lightweight division, 17-0-1 as a pro, 10 knockouts. Salido 11-8 as a pro. Power punches through round 5. Salido has the edge through round 3. Salido has the edge in that category. Pearson has landed a lot of jabs, 61.
This is the kind of fight that very easily I could see Pearson losing the fight, going through, all the way through, right up to the moment he lands a big punch and knocks out Salido. Because he gives you plenty of opportunities to out-hustle him. Covers up, lets you outwork him. His work rate is not really big. He's very selective. Selectiveness is good when you land. But while you're not landing and you're in there with a busy guy like Salido, you can get behind the 8 ball. You can get behind in a decision.
And Pearson isn't, he's not a huge banger either.
No, he's not, but Salido has been knocked out 5 times and leaves himself vulnerable with wide punches every once in a while. Coming in a little too far away, you would think that somewhere along the fight, Pearson is going to launch a punch at the right time.
On the late stages of round 3, Pearson threw a very good counter left hook that staggered Salido a little bit.
Bad news for Pearson. He keeps going this way and allowing Salido to outwork him. He may have to land a big punch to win the fight. You never want to be in that position.
After a good round 3 for Pearson, so far through the first 2 minutes of round 4, he is being dramatically outworked.
And that's it, partner. Nothing fancier than that. Outworked.
Salido putting his punches together, going to the chest and head.
This is an interesting fight. You said it at the end of the last round. Good fight. There's some interest, some intrigue here. Because while Salido's winning, he does things that allows him to put himself in a perilous position where at any moment Pearson could land the punch, turn it around. And in the meantime, if Pearson doesn't land, well, we're watching Salido keep a busy pace, and that's always fun to watch.
Orlando Salido pressing the action in round 4. Orlando Salido taking on Lamont Pearson. And so far, Salido, the 22-year-old from Mexico, the busier of the two. Throwing a lot of power punches. Pearson, very, very cautious at times in this fight. Looking for counter opportunities, but getting outworked in certain spots.
Pearson might be even more tentative or more cautious after what happened a couple seconds into this round. He threw a slow jab. He got countered with a right hand by Salido. That might make him think even more before he throws.
This is a very significant fight because Pearson is ranked #1 by the IBF at 130 pounds. He becomes the mandatory for Stevie Forbes, who was supposed to fight on this card, but they had all kinds of problems with opposition. He said he didn't like the ESPN money, so on and so forth, so be it, he's gone. But Pearson has to win this fight.
A lot of implications, you're right. Pearson's also #4 in the WBA. Salido could change places, move way up the ladder, while Pearson could drop down.
Salido just digging in against Pearson.
Oh, he's feeling it. He's confident. Don't let a guy get confident. A guy who's not rated, fighting a high-rated guy. Don't let him get confident. Kind of like that NCAA tournament that's going on right now. Don't let one of those little schools get confident. They might knock off one of those big giants. Watch out for Kent State.
I think Pearson got hurt there. I don't know if it was from a punch or a clash of heads. They both land overhand rights. Salido taking this fight to Pearson. An hour before we came on the air, Salido was going to pull out of the fight. Now he's, at least according to us, winning the fight.
Yes, sir. And making a heck of a good fight. Very pleasing to the eye. And forcing Pearson to step it up, switch gears, stop being selective, just start moving those hands. He's got Pearson in an urgent situation, and Pearson is reacting.
Good 5th round. Each guy's had their moments. Very interesting round #5 completed. Both guys had their moments here at the Celebrity Theater in Phoenix, Arizona. Round #6 underway. Lamont Pearson, Orlando Salido. No knockdown so far in the fight. Salido in the white trunks, relying on the power game. Pearson has been effective with his jab, not necessarily consistent enough overall. Both guys working the body.
This is the kind of fight that maybe Pearson went into looking at the record of Salido, seeing 5 times he'd been knocked out, figuring he was going to hurt him. And now, having to change gears and pick up his work rate, finding out that he hasn't hurt him. That's not easy to do. Change your mental attitude, your mental approach, and now have to go into a whole different mode.
Left hand there by Pearson. Rock back Salido. When we spoke with Pearson yesterday, he said, I know nothing about Salido. I'm going to use my jab, my movement, just outbox him. Well, different kind of fight.
Yes, sir. If he was depending on hurting Salido, thinking that he could since other people had, right now, he may be a little discouraged.
Hey, I'm not trying to make any excuses here for Lamont Pearson because I give all the credit to Salido so far. Right hand staggers Salido. I'll have to ask you that question later. The corner of Salido saying, hold him, grab him, protect yourself. Left hand on the chin of Salido.
This would be a good spot for Pearson to start going to that body, banging that body, freezing Salido a little bit because he's moving his head trying to survive.
The corner of Salido saying, move, get away.
Even if you don't move your head before you're hurt, you move it instinctively when you're hurt. That's why when you hurt a guy, you should go downstairs.
Salido hurt again. Been rocked a couple times here in this 6th round. Can only be saved with the bell in the final round.
A lot of those punches Pearson trying to finish Salido off are missing to the head. He went to the body. I don't think they'd miss.
Big round for Lamont Pearson. Andre Hunter, Donald Wilson in the corner of Lamont Pearson, who landed a very big punch, a couple of them actually in round number 6 to stem the tide of Salido, Teddy.
Well, he was waiting for a moment, and there it was. Salido taking a picture with his left hand down, right in front. Right hand crashing home for Pearson.
So a very good round for Lamont Pearson. He beat Salido at the power game, which is an area in this fight that he has not had the advantage. He's had the advantage in the jab category. Now, the question I was going to ask you about this, the performance by Pearson, not to make any excuses, obviously he had a very good round 6, but he probably caught wind about an hour before we went on the air that Salido had pulled out of the fight. Originally he pulled out, then he thought about it and decided to come back in. Might Pearson have relaxed, disconnected a little bit and said, oh man, I'm not even going to be fighting?
No doubt about it. 75% of this business, you've heard it said before, is mental. No doubt. Very good point, very astute point. No doubt about it. You start to think, I'm not fighting tonight. You start to loosen up. You start to gear down. You start to let your guard down a little bit. Thinking you're going home. You don't have to go do battle. And all of a sudden, boom, you're back on.
Salido rocked in round 6. Able to hold off a charging Lamont Pearson.
Once again, I think good advice to Pearson would be very simply let your hands go. If you're waiting for the perfect spot with a guy going in and out who's real busy and you don't get that perfect spot, well, you're getting outworked. And you're allowing that man, that busy kind of fighter like Salido is, to do this. Get off. He has nothing to worry about.
Well, we heard the Pearson corner as we came back from that commercial break said, hey, triple up that jab and then let the right hand go. Put your punches together.
Again, the mental aspect. We talked about it earlier. Pearson looked at the record of Salido, so he was knocked out 5 times. If he was expecting to go in there and hurt Salido, and he finally did the last round, he probably expected him to go away, too. Salido didn't go away. He's still there. How much has that affected Pearson?
Heard the corner yell to Salido, hey, you're winning the round.
The key for Pearson here is one of 2 things. Use your jab, control Salido on the outside, set things up, or catch him coming in.
Pearson didn't do a lot off that very good 6th round. Interesting fight between 22-year-old Orlando Salido and Lamont Pearson. Pearson ranked #1 by the IBF, #4 by the WBA in the junior lightweight division, 130 pounds. But Salido has pressed the action in this fight. For the most part, he's been busier, and the punches that he has landed are power shots, the kind that win favor with the judges, the telling blows. Pearson had a very good round 6, but round 7 fought in spots.
Pearson seems to have a better idea of what he needs to do this round, at least early on. Using the jab, creating distance, trying to make the aggressive shorter. Salido walk into something. Salido's a little shorter reach, shorter wingspan. He makes himself even shorter with the kind of punches he throws. He throws round punches. That means he has to get close. That means he's a little bit smaller. That means a guy like Pearson could do better if he would keep him at his distance instead of letting him in the kitchen like he is right here.
You see the punches thrown and landed. Pearson has landed almost 100 more punches than Salido, but Salido has been busier, and Salido's connects are power shots. Most of Pearson's connects are jabs, and in pro boxing, power shots are the one that catches the judge's eye.
Pearson likes to fight in spots. At least tonight he's looking to fight in spots. And that can be very, very dangerous when you have a guy that doesn't fight in spots. Fights all the way through the round like Salido does. One of two things is going to happen. If you're Pearson, you're either going to hurt Salido sooner or later, like he did a couple rounds ago, or you're going to be in a heck of a struggle. You're going to have, or at least your corner people are going to have their heart in their throat when the decision comes.
Very tough fight to score. It'll be interesting to see you. This is one of those scorecards, Teddy, where you might see judges have it totally opposite directions, and it'll be justified based on the jabs and the power punches.
Very good point. Very fair point.
You might have it one way for Salido, big. You might have it one way for Pearson. Just on the style that the two bring, they're so different, and each guy has had selected moments. Welcome back to Phoenix, Arizona. Glad you can join us. Friday Night Fights presented by Miller High Life. Bob Papa along with Teddy Atlas. Very interesting fight between Lamont Pearson and Orlando Salido. Teddy Atlas's scorecard reads as follows: 78-75 for Salido. I have it 78-74 for Salido. Now, we listened to the corner of Pearson, who's ranked #1 by the IBF and #4 by the WBA. His corner was brutally honest. They said, hey, this fight is very, very close. You cannot lock up after you throw your jab, meaning you have to throw more than just the jabs. And, you know, we showed the punch numbers before, the CompuBox numbers. The reason why Pearson has such a big edge in the overall connects, he's landed 118 more jabs. It skewed the numbers, but Salido has landed the more telling blows.
You're right, the corner of Pearson, Andre Hunter running that corner, telling him the truth, as you said. Step it up. Your ranking in the organization is at stake. Your future is at stake. This is what it comes down to right now. On the inside, it's Salido. He's a busy guy. He's a shorter guy. He's comfortable in there. Doesn't mean he can't get hurt, but he's comfortable in there. He's throwing. For Pearson to be effective, it got to start on the outside, the taller man. He's allowing Salido to get too close.
Okay, you see. Look at your head. Okay.
Look at a clash of heads there.
Come here. got a cut caused by accidental headbutt.
Accidental clash of heads, says referee Tony
Watch
Weeks.
your head. Cut by accidental headbutt. Be careful, okay? Here we go.
Some here at ringside think it was a punch. I thought the heads came together.
See, when they're inside, Salido's happy. Pearson needs to start throwing punches as Salido tries to get in. Make him pay a price.
On paper, for Pearson, looked like a stay busy fight because it becomes the mandatory for the IBF on June the 29th. In reality, the 11-8 Orlando Salido, who had been knocked out 5 times, has been more than a handful. He's been 2 hands full for Pearson.
And he's been getting inside and working with those 2 handfuls. On the outside, Pearson needs to move his hands before Salido, the shorter man, gets close. Salido will reach a little bit. Pearson needs to take advantage of that. Make him pay a price. Like there, punch at the right time, when there's a little room, like now. Pearson shined for a moment there, but then he allowed Salido to get close again. But will it be enough to win the round?
A lot at stake for 31-year-old Lamont Pearson tonight. Take a look at the reigning junior lightweight champion, Steve Forbes. Didn't like the changing opponents for this card. Lamont Pearson is ranked #1, becomes a mandatory in June, and he is at risk of losing that place, Teddy.
He sure is. This is as big a round as he has had in his career. And you know what? He's acting like he understands that the way he's coming out. When there's distance, it's Pearson. When they're in close, it's Salido. The end of the round, Pearson hurt Salido. Probably grabbed that round with that action at the end of the last round. And the way he hurt him, the way Pearson was able to affect Salido, punching as Salido came in when there was a little room.
Now, for the same reason that we gave Salido a lot of those rounds because of the power punches, even though Pearson landed more in total, you got to give that consideration to Pearson at the end of that last round because he landed the power shots. Teddy's scorecard, 87-85 for Salido. I have an 87-84 for Salido.
I could see a draw roaming around here somewhere if this fight goes the distance. Not impossible. When there's distance, Pearson gets off. Look for him to shake up Salido. When they're in close, look for Salido either to score or just survive.
The corner of Salido yelling, try the overhand right.
There goes Salido again, Bob. The old-fashioned way, just moving his hands on the inside. Again, inside. Salido. Why is Pearson letting him be there? Right now, this fight is so close that I'm going to make a suggestion. Whoever can outwork the guy on the inside probably wins this round. Look, neither one worked. Neither one worked there on the inside. Whoever makes the choice to work more on the inside is probably going to win this round.
Right now, it's Salido doing the working.
So you got to look at it. Let's see, who makes the choice here? Ah, neither one. Who's going to dig a little deeper? Who makes the choice to work here? Solid deals going on.
Well, Salido got tagged there.
As soon as there was a little distance, Pearson can get extension. It's a good, interesting fight. I've enjoyed it. It's like Maxwell coffee. Good to the last drop.
Well, Orlando Salido came into this ring after nearly pulling out of the fight 1 hour before the telecast because he wanted an extra $2,000. He took it right to Lamont Pearson and outworked him with the power shots at certain points in this fight. Do you like power? Do you like the jab? Did Pearson's place in the rankings get displaced? We'll find out. Well, Lamont Pearson and Orlando Salido went toe-to-toe for 10 rounds. Pearson ranked #1 by the IBF in the junior lightweight division. Total punches, Pearson landing over 100 more punches in the fight, but a big number of them were jabs. 155 were jabs. Salido, much busier, 231 more power punches thrown, and he outlanded him as well. How did the judges score? Did they like the jabs? Did they like the power? Teddy had it 96-95. Salido had it 96-94. Salido. Is it a split decision? Let's find out from our ring announcer, Thomas Treiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards, and we have a unanimous decision. Judge Gonzalo Valenzuela scores about 97-93. Judge Chris Wilson scores about 96-94. And Judge Aaron Kaiser also scores about 96-94. All in favor of your winner, Orlando Salido.
A huge upset. Orlando Salido, the 22-year-old from Mexico, with an 11-8 record, knocked out 5 times, coming to take on Lamont Pearson, with Pearson poised as the mandatory for Steve Forbes and the IBF 130-pound title fight. And Pearson loses a unanimous decision. Teddy, the judges like the power of Salido.
Yes, they did. They did a good job, at least in our humble estimation. The judges did a real good job. And there goes the rating of Pearson. Take nothing for granted.
So Salido with a huge upset of Lamont Pearson. James Toney still to come. Here's Brian and Max.